Thanks for watching Gamer Logic, and today we're reviewing the 3DZERO, which is a Super NES to 3DO controller adapter that works great. It has many pros, has few cons, and I figured for the low price of $7.99, which I got from the website Game Express, that I might as well give it a try because, quite frankly, I was getting pretty tired of my 3DO controller when I was playing Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So that being said, I've played some other games with the 3DO controller. Now, the controller isn't horrible in itself, but when you compare it to a great gamepad like the Super Nintendo gamepad, it just doesn't compare. So I went online, I found this adapter, and I thought it was pretty cool, and you couldn't beat it for the price. So I definitely decided to pick one up, and I figured I'd share it for those potential 3DO players out there that are looking to do something a little different with their 3DO controllers. The device itself, the 3DZERO, is just a dongle that plugs into your 3DO. It's got a couple different options on there, obviously the most important being the place where the Super Nintendo joypad plugs in. You have an extension port on here to plug in either another dongle or another 3DO controller. And you also have an option to do either the 6-button or 4-button setup that can be selected just by a little flip switch here on the top. This allows you to play games like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo with all 6 buttons, or if you have other games that don't support the 6 buttons, you can simply turn the feature off and stick right to 4 buttons. Now, I do want to point out that one of the cons of this device, when I originally bought it, I thought it was a dual Super NES adapter, so you could just plug both Super NES controllers in and plug this into the 3DO and you'd be set. Unfortunately, it only has one, and upon further studies of seeing if there were dual adapters available, there are, but they're more money. So it's up to you as the consumer what you want to do. I mean, if you don't have many people who play 3DO with you, then you can obviously just pick up the single slot, or if you have someone playing 3DO with you all the time, you can play with the dual controllers. Now again, because the extension port is here, you can have your friend play on a 3DO controller. So if you really don't like him and you really want to beat him up quick in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, you can give him the 3DO controller, or if you're nice, you can give him the Super Nintendo controller. So it all depends. Now, I was worried when I picked this up that I may have some delay in the button presses, and I was very happy to find out that in games like Out of This World, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, there was no delay. I was able to pull off my moves very easily, and there was no issue at all with it. It was flawless, which I really am happy about. This device also claims that you can use pretty much any Super Nintendo accessory to make it work with the 3DO. And I wanted to see how far you could really go with that. There are certain games that use the 3DO mouse, like Police Stunts actually had a feature to use the mouse with a 3DO mouse. It was a 3-button mouse, and I wanted to see if the Super Nintendo mouse would actually work for it from Mario Paint. So I plugged the device in, and unfortunately it wouldn't respond to the movements. The right mouse button would respond, but the left one wouldn't, so it's kind of useless. I also wanted to see if some of the 3DO shooting games would work with the Super Scope 6, which is kind of overkill for anything, but that's besides the point. This also didn't work. I was thinking maybe the Lethal Enforcer's gun that Konami released for the Super Nintendo may work, but unfortunately I don't have a pair of those guns, I don't have a single of those guns, so I couldn't test it. So that would be interesting to see if the Lethal Enforcer's guns would work for it, because I know the 3DO gun is kind of expensive to get now for certain games. So overall, you know, for the pros, there's obviously a lot of them. The device works great, it's cheap, and the only con I really have about it is the fact that it doesn't have both the ports. I guess one other con actually is depending on how you have your 3DO setup, my setup is actually pretty high on a shelf, is this device kind of hangs a lot, so you may want to get some double stick tape just to kind of get it to sit down, because what will happen, and what happened to me, was I would plug this into the 3DO and I would pull my Super Nintendo controller and this would start to hang, and of course that pulls on the actual port of your 3DO, which is never a good thing. 3DO ports are pretty durable, but you don't want to put stress on it if you don't have to. Overall though, despite those two cons, I would give this thing a 4 out of 5. I really wish it was a dual adapter, but it does what it says for the most part. It works. Super NES controllers beat the heck out of 3DO controllers. Go pick this up. GameExpress.com, $7.99 with some shipping. That's all I got for now. I'm Mike Murtis. See you in another episode soon. Gamer Logic.